Right. So, hi everybody. Welcome to the fourth session of LR Must Do Sets playlist for CAT 2025. And in today's video, we bring to you a set on arrangements, a pretty interesting set, I would say. And the set has a lot of cool concepts discussed. And without further ado, let's have a look at the set. So, I'm just going to switch the screen. So, let's have a look, right? So, the set says, of course, there are five friends, A, B, C, M, and T, wearing five different brands of t-shirts. This is essentially the entire information. There are some questions also based on the set. Some questions which are not mentioned here. Which color t-shirt does Malini wear? Which brand does Malini wear? Who is fourth from the front? And one more question, I don't exactly remember, but no problem. I think this should be good. Okay, so essentially these are the questions. So please give the questions a try before watching the solution. Okay, the questions are right here. I'm going to put it right here. Right, so please have a look at the questions before moving forward. I'll just keep them next to my face so that that is there. Okay. So anyway, coming back. So let's, without further ado, let's start with the solution of the set. Uh, yeah. So there are five friends. The friends are named Aman, Bob, Chris, Malini, Tariq. Aman, Bob, Chris, Malini, Tariq, and they are wearing five different brands of t-shirts amongst. So these are friends. Five different brands of t-shirts amongst Reebok, Nike, Puma, Roadster, and Levi. Not necessarily in the same order. They're standing in a queue at a party. I'm going to assume the back person to be at the last and the front person to be on the right hand side. Right. Uh, they're standing in a queue at a party. The colors of the t-shirts are black, red, silver, violet, and white, not particularly in any order. It is also known that. So then we are given the clues. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to just write who is the last person standing, who is the person at the fourth position standing, who is the person at the third position standing, who is the person at the second position standing, and who is the person at the first position standing in case we are given any clues about them. I'd like to start with brand. Okay, it really does not matter which value you start with, but I'm going to start with brand, okay, as my first row. I'm going to have my names as my second row, and going to have t-shirt color as my third row. All right, and that is going to be essentially it. Okay, so let's have a look. The person who wears the Reebok t-shirt is standing ahead of the person wearing the Roadster t-shirt, and the color of the Reebok t-shirt is not red. So Reebok is standing ahead of the Roadster guy. So some guy is Roadster. Okay, who is that guy? We don't know. Okay, so we just have a question mark. Who is the person? Which color is he wearing? We don't know. Wait, maybe I'll keep this a little small because I will want more space. Maybe right here. Okay, and I'm going to keep two blanks to denote the name and the brand. Then I'm going to keep Reebok. Right, I'm going to have the name and the brand. Now, this is not first, this is not second, this is not third, fourth, or whatever. Okay, or this is not first, this is not second, or fourth or fifth. Okay, I don't know. I'm just keeping this in mind that this is going to be the order. And how far apart are these people? We don't know. Okay, we don't have any information about that as of now, so we can't determine that at the moment. Okay, so just this, I'm denoting the gap with a question mark. And the color of the Reebok t-shirt is not red. So this color is not red. So it could be any color, but it is not red. ठीक है, no problem. Bob does not wear Nike and he is standing behind Malini. So we have another clue which says Bob does not wear Nike and he is standing behind Malini. So what color t-shirt is he wearing? We don't know. Okay, we just know he does not wear Nike and he is standing behind Malini. Okay, so please try to understand. My last person is standing here, the next person is standing ahead, and the next person is standing ahead. So if he's standing behind Malini, that means Malini is standing on, in front of Bob. So you have Malini here. Now, how far ahead is Malini? We don't know because it does not say immediately behind or immediately ahead. Okay, but and we also don't know what Malini is wearing and all, right? The color of the t-shirt and all, we don't know. Okay, we have another clue which says that the Levi t-shirt is violet. So Levi t-shirt. Okay, so there is going to be some. See, my top is the brand, so nothing on the top. Some person wearing that Levi, and the color is violet. And of course, it is told to me that Tarek is not wearing the Levi t-shirt. So this is not Tarek. Okay. Now the fourth clue tells us Aman stands behind the person who wears a white t-shirt. So Aman is behind the person who's wearing a white t-shirt. Okay. I'll just maybe write it here. Okay, just I don't know. Okay, I'm just writing this, just storing this information. So we have Aman who is standing behind. So that means the other guy is standing ahead. Aman is standing behind the person who wears the white t-shirt. Okay, so person we don't know, brand we don't know. Okay, brand we don't know of this guy also, but we know that this guy is wearing a white t-shirt. Okay, we know this. Okay, and color of Aman's t-shirt is not silver. Okay, again, please try to understand till the fourth clue. We only have clues which are indirect. Okay, we don't have a direct clue yet, something you can place in our system. Okay, we still don't have anything right now and nothing concrete, right? So, right, that is what makes this set pretty cool and pretty tough. Okay, it also tells us, clue number five tells us Chris does not wear the Reebok t-shirt. So, not Chris. Uh, and he is immediately ahead of the person who wears the black t-shirt. Again, another indirect clue. Okay, let's say maybe I write it here that Chris is somewhere, he wears something, but he is not a Reebok, and he is standing immediately ahead of the person. So the other guy is immediately ahead, right? And he is wearing what? He is wearing a black t-shirt. So don't know the brand, don't know anything. We just notice the t-shirt is black. Okay, so we have information till here, and wait, let me just increase the size just a little bit. Okay, decrease, sorry. Yeah. Okay, again, no concrete information till now, right? So, hmm, what else? Let's go forward. Bob wears the red t-shirt. Okay, now please try to understand. Okay, let me first put a question marks on places where we don't know how far ahead they are. Yeah, Bob wears the red t-shirt. So we are given Bob wears the red t-shirt and he is ahead of three people. If he's ahead of three people, so that means that he's ahead of this guy, he's ahead of this guy, and he's ahead of this guy. That means he's at the position number two. So we know that Bob is here. We don't know the brand. We know that he is wearing a red t-shirt. Okay, and we know that he is not Nike. He is also not Reebok. Why is he not Reebok? Because Reebok is not red. Correct? Right. If he is not Reebok, he is also not Levi because Levi is violet. So he is also not Levi. So the two brands which are remaining for Bob could be Puma and Roadster. Right. So let's just try to put that in our clue that it is, oops, sorry, not to do that. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So let's just try to put that it could be either Puma or Roadster. So finally, one concrete clue, right? Uh, Till clue number five, we only have one concrete clue, and that's what makes this set tough. That because there are no lot of direct clues, so you need to be very careful of the kind of picture you're making, the kind of clues you're using, how are you using those clues, and all. All right. Uh, Now there's this clue number seven, that there is only one person between the person who wears Puma and the person who wears the Roadster t-shirt. Okay, so Bob is one of Puma and Roadster. Now it says there is only one person between the person who wears Puma and the person who wears Roadster. That means the inference here comes out that this guy, person who's standing at the fourth position, is either Roadster or Puma because it tells you that there is only one person who wears between the person who wears Puma and the person who wears Roadster, and person standing at number two is definitely either Puma or Roadster. So there needs to be one person between person two and some other person. The only person who can be in between, one person who can be in between, is person number three. So for that you need to have person number four as the other guy wearing Roadster or Puma, if Bob is Puma or Roadster. Okay, and this guy is the person who wears. There's only one person who wears who between the person who wears Puma and the person who wears Roadster, and that person wears white t-shirts. So this is given to us another clue which we could fit that this guy wears white t-shirts. Sorry, this white will come down. White t-shirts. Okay, so please try to understand that this cannot be Levi because Levi is violet. This cannot be Roadster. This cannot be Puma. Okay, we know that it cannot be all of these three. Correct. So the two possible situations for this is that it is either Nike or Reebok. Okay, do we have any clue which prohibits Nike or Reebok here? Nike ka any clue? Nope, nothing. Okay, Reebok ka any clue? Reebok was not Chris and not red. तो Chris and red तो अभी तक आया नहीं है, right? And anyway, this is white, so this means that it could be either Nike or Puma. Sorry, Nike or Reebok. So Nike or Reebok. Okay, so let's move further now and try to look at the set. Uh, the When we go further, the clue tells us that Malini does not wear silver colored t-shirt. So Malini is not silver. Let's just try to place that. Not silver. And the Roadster t-shirt is not black in color. So not black. It could be any color, but it is not black. Right. So this is essentially all the clues, and then it's just questions. So we understand that since we have direct questions, who wears a Nike t-shirt, which t-shirt does Tarek wear, clues like this essentially means that we should be able to find the entire arrangement. Okay. So let's try to see different clues. Okay. Look at this clue. First of all, look at this clue. Roadster and Reebok. Okay, so Roadster, Reebok is ahead of Roadster. Okay, and if Reebok is ahead of Roadster, what are the positions for Reebok? Reebok can either be here, Reebok can be here, or Reebok can be here. Okay, these are the three positions. But Roadster is either number 4 or number 2. So it's definitely confirmed that Reebok can either be number 1 or number 3. Okay, based on the given scenario. Right, and of course, we also have number 3 where we have a position that Reebok could be there. So this, of course, does not give us the direct clue. Okay, uh, we had one more clue that Malini is ahead of Bob. Okay, so Bob is standing behind Malini, so Malini is ahead of Bob, and we know that Bob is at number 2. That means Malini necessarily is at number 1. Okay, if Malini is number 1, Malini is not silver. Okay, Malini is not red and white also. So Malini can only be two colors. Malini can either be uh, violet, sorry, violet, or Manli can be black. Okay, and we had this clue. If you see right here, we had this clue that whoever is the person who's wearing the t-shirt, black t-shirt, person C is standing ahead of that person who's wearing the black t-shirt. Okay, so Chris does not wear the Reebok t-shirt. Okay, and he is immediately ahead of the person who wears the black t-shirt. So if you attribute black to Malini, the problem is there is nobody ahead of Malini because Bob is at number 2 and Malini is at number 1. So if you put Malini at number 1, then Chris cannot come in front of Malini. So that's why Malini cannot be violet, sorry, cannot be black, and hence Malini is violet. Okay, this is the first inference that we find out. So we have placed white, we have placed red, and we have placed violet. So this is either black, silver, or silver black. And again, using this same clue that Chris is standing immediately ahead of the person wearing the black t-shirt. Okay, so if you have black here, then Chris is here. If you have black here, then Chris is here. Okay, so these are the two possible situations for black. Sorry, is for Chris. Right, so of course, definitely we know that Chris cannot come here. So there are then two situations left for Chris because we have already used Bob and we used Malini. So it could either be Aman or Tariq at number 5. Okay, so it's either Aman or Tariq at number 5. Okay, again, this is something which we can find out. Correct? Hopefully that is clear. Now, what else? Please try to understand what all clues have we used, what all clues are remaining, right? We have to, of course, use a lot of clues, right? We have not used this clue properly. Levi, Violet, and some person. Of course, we have attributed Violet to Malini, so Levi will be Malini's, right? This is the first value which we came up with, which we can come up with. Okay. Now we also had one clue that Aman is standing behind the person who is wearing white t-shirt. Now, how many places behind we don't know. It was did not say immediately behind or one step behind or two step behind. So we can't find that out. So Aman is definitely either here or here. Okay. So of course, this means that this cannot be Aman, right? So this means that this value can, if it cannot be Aman, so it can either be Chris, right, or it is Tariq. Okay, so this is of course pretty clear to us, right? So and of course this value can either be this value could be Chris. Okay, it could be Tariq also, but we'll have a look. Okay, we don't need to necessarily look at number 4 right now. We've used this clue entirely. We can just delete this clue, all right, so that we are not getting confused with any other clues. We know that Chris cannot be Reebok. Okay, so if Chris cannot be Reebok, so if we have Nike or Reebok here, okay, so if this ends up being Reebok, then we cannot have Chris here, right? So please just keep that in mind, right? And of course, Chris cannot be at this position. So Chris can, Chris has an option of being here, right? And of course, that is something which is possible. No problem, not an issue. Now, please try to understand. We need to use this clue to move forward. Reebok is ahead of Roadster, or Roadster is behind Reebok. Okay, this was the first clue which was told to us. Okay, so Reebok t-shirt is standing ahead of the person who is wearing Roadster. Now, Roadster again, as you know, it can either be number four or number two. Whatever it is, if let's say Roadster is number two, for example, then Reebok needs to be number one. But can Reebok be number one? No, it cannot be. Why? Because Levi is number one. So since Levi is number one, Reebok cannot be number one. So Roadster cannot be number two as well. So then that means that number two is nothing but Puma. Okay. So number two is Puma. See, number two, there were two possible situations. Either it was Roadster or Puma. If you had put Roadster on number two, the issue was that you could not put Reebok at number one because Reebok had to be ahead of Roadster. Okay, so anybody who's confused with that part, that should explain to you. And if this is Puma, then this is Roadster. Okay, and if this is Roadster, then this part is Reebok because Reebok has to be ahead of Roadster. So this is Reebok. And if this is Reebok, then the first person is Nike. If the third person is Reebok, we know that Chris cannot be Reebok, okay, from this clue. So Chris cannot be Reebok. So this is Tarek, definitely. Okay, I'll just erase this. Tarek, definitely. Okay, if this is clue number three is Tarek, definitely, then that means that clue number, like person number five is Aman. Like person standing at number five is Aman because it cannot be Chris. And if this is Aman, then this guy has to be Chris necessarily. And if this is Chris, we know that the person wearing the black t-shirt is standing behind Chris. So that means that this is silver. Okay, Chris is silver and Aman is black. Okay, there was another way of finding out black and silver after you found out Aman and Chris using this clue that Aman is not silver. So if Aman is not silver, Aman can only be black, right? And that essentially completes the set. Who wears the Nike t-shirt? That is the first question. Let me just zoom into the table for you guys. This is the final table. Right. Nike, Roadster, Reebok, Puma, Levi, Aman, Chris, T, Bob, Malini, black, silver, white, red, and violet. Okay, these are the t-shirts. And then we come to the question, who wears the Nike t-shirt? Aman wears the Nike t-shirt. Option A is correct. Which t-shirt does Tarek wear? He wears the Reebok t-shirt. Option C is correct. There were a couple of more questions in this set. I'll just put that up. The question was, which t-shirt does Malini wear? Okay. What color t-shirt does Malini wear? Okay. Who is standing at fourth from the first position? Okay, these were the five questions. I think there were total six questions, but I remember the five questions, so I'll just put this here. Which t-shirt does Malini wear? So we need to check. Malini wears Levi. Okay, Malini wears Levi, and Malini wore the violet colored t-shirt. And who is standing fourth from the first position? So fourth person is Chris. So Chris is standing at the fourth position. And essentially that wraps up the set. So what this set teaches us is proper structuring of clues. That is very important. If you're structuring your clues properly, if you're making your table nice and clean, you're very clear about what's happening in the table, then you should be you should not find the set particularly difficult. You should not find it difficult. You should be able to go through the set in a simple manner, right? So that is me, Shaurya, signing out from today's session. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you liked the class, and I'll see you guys in the next session wherein I discuss another cat level set. Thank you.